And what's happening out there, guys? Welcome along to another episode of 420 News. Hope you're all good out there, guys, and I hope you all had a fantabulous long weekend. I know I made the most of mine and enjoyed it as well as best I could. But apologies there, guys, for the slight delay in getting the show started yet again today. Just had some issues there in the background, but all sorted now, thankfully, and hopefully shouldn't have any more issues or arise as the show goes on. So fingers crossed. Um, right, we will get around to say some hellos to everybody out there. I see lots of comments coming in from everybody in the audience. What's happening, John O'Regan? What's happening, John Finnegan, as well, to the Johnny Wise out there? What's going on, guys? Podge as well as in the audience. We've Mark Andrew Morgan, Endo with Aimee. What's happening, Endo? Hope all is well over there in Spain. Endo with Aimee saying, I'm in the Cannabis Club, bud, but if I can join somehow. We could arrange that actually, Aimee. Give me a couple of seconds there, and maybe I can open up a Zoom chatter of some kind and get that going with you, maybe, if you're up for it. Just in case, I'll get out my spare webcam here in case we have to connect up to another Zoom. So give me one sec, guys, and I'm just going to get this up there. So you see that invite there by Aimee. So won't waste that opportunity if I can make the avail of it. Boom, there we go. Nice one. So give us a couple of secs there, Aimee, and we'll set up a Zoom, and we'll get that off over to you. And maybe in a little bit we might be able to get you in and have a quick chat. Yeah, improvise today's 420 news. We have what do we have? We have about 7 headlines to get through there for you today. Some of them will pretty much fly through because it's the usual with the old Gardaí and their Operation Tara and all of this stuff. But the first piece you'd be rather interested in. I only came across it by chance there this morning. Thanks to the guys over on Crown. Somebody was kind enough to take a picture of an article and put it up there. So that's where I got the first article from, our first headline for today. But others out there in the audience, anyway, let's get back to the audience. What's happening, Teresa? Liam O'Gorman's out there as well. Liam O'Gorman saying, John Finnegan loves 420 News. Is it true? Mm-hmm. He does. Um, Others out there, Pods, Steve Jones, what's going on? Soul Rebel, Hype is in the audience as well. What's going on, Hype? Rain and Rocks, what's going on? What's up? What's up, all? Only one thing to be doing at this time on a day like this. Some 420 news and just get high. Nice one to R420 for the extra goodies, man. Nice, good stuff there. So there's another happy customer of R420 supplies out there in the audience. Some kind words coming in from Rain and Rocks for R420 supplies. That's r420.ie, guys, if you want to get in on that goodness. Skitanis there as well. John Phantom, what's happening, John Phantom? Hi stoners, I'm not stoned, but hi. Comes from smoking a few joints a day equivalent. Nice, good there. Keith Griffin's out there as well. Andrea, what's happening, Andrea? Good evening, Martin. Good evening, everyone listening on the way home from work. Nice, hopefully you didn't have too hard a day at work and you're heading home to unwind in the way that we do best. With a little bit of herbal assistance. Others out there in the audience, who's there? Daniel Crowley, what's going on, Daniel? Monsieur Fudge, what's happening, Monsieur? John Finnegan, what are you saying? Martin Condon to the checkout, please. Oh, John. Monsieur Fudge says, yo, I'll give my regards. Trying to listen under a mobile home, trying to plumb in a rainwater system. Best way in the feckin' rain. Well, at least you have plenty of water there to check if it's working. If it's anyway like what it is down here in Cork at the moment. Others out there, Patrick Peacock over on Twitch. What's going on, Patrick? Darren Vickers as well. What's going on, Darren? Hunter K is out there. R420s is in the audience. Mustaw is. big old audience we have out there. Danny Butler, what's happening, Danny? And Miss Daways as well. Yeah, that's everybody. Yes, we got through you. Let's blaze up a bowl together, guys. And I'll open up a Zoom link there for Aimee as well. Hopefully that doesn't take up too much effort to get this all lined up there. Boom, there we go. Hey, what's that popping up behind me? Oh, that's a Zoom. Oh, nice. Zoom is already open here. Nice. Happy days. Don't have as much setting up to do as what I thought I might have had. Ah, sweet. Happy days. Might be able to sort this one out all right. Boom, shakalaka. Yes. Right, we'll get an Aimee or an invite over there to Aimee as well. Give me 1 second more. But before we get to Aimee, actually, and apologies, Aimee, for the delay in getting to you, but I want to just get into the first headline that I have lined up for you today, actually. And the first headline, as I said, this came to my attention thanks to the guys over on Crown, over on Reddit. But this was the recent health committee that was held where they were discussing the topic of breast cancer screening. And it was interesting what was brought up during this discussion. With interestingly too, the discussion was being had with Gino Kenny. So I wonder, did that bear any relevance to what was brought up? So this is the first headline for today's 420 News. It is the Oireachtas Health Committee hears that cannabis is the leading cause of breast lumps in men. So I don't know what you think about that, like, but when you hear breast lumps in men, you know, breast lumps, come on, like, well, what goes off in your minds? Like, breast cancer, of course, like that for me is what straight away, that's what I heard, like, breast lumps. Well, if you've got a lump in your breast, well, you're going to be thinking straight away, oh, that's a cancer, you've got a cancer growing in your breast, or something along those lines. Well, this was a statement that was made by the the clinical advisor for the National Cancer Control Programme, Arnold Hill. Arnold Hill, when being questioned by Gino Kenny about men, the importance of men checking their breasts and if it's a thing that men do, you know, and he was like, well, you know, blah, 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 and he's like, oh, well, cannabis use is actually the leading cause of lumps in men's breasts. A completely misleading statement. Like, it was really, really misleading because, again, as I say, when I say it to you out there, like, well, what do you hear when you hear about breast lumps in men's breasts? You know, you're gonna think about breast cancer, aren't you? Well, what I was actually talking about was a particular form of a growth within men's breasts called Gynecomastia. I'm going to play the video here before I go any further on this, but gynecomastia is what he was actually referring to, and it's incredibly misleading what this guy actually done and what he said. So hopefully this is lined up there correctly and plays well for you. So this is an excerpt taking from that health committee meeting held there on Tuesday, the 21st of October, I believe.
Final question. Really know much about. Read a bit more about it. Is that breast cancer affects men? Obviously, a very, very small amount. Related to the 3,500 diagnosed each year, what percentage of men would be diagnosed with breast cancer, and what is the mortality or recovery rate in relation to those men that get breast cancer?
It's a great question. For every 200 women we diagnose with breast cancer, we diagnose one male. So it is very rare, relatively speaking. So for every 200 you diagnose, you see one man with breast cancer. And indeed, BRCA2 is a particular gene that's more likely to occur in men. So in those families where you identify a mutation, particularly BRCA2, it's very relevant for the males in that family. But it's rare in our workload overall. You could appreciate it's less than 1%, but very relevant.
And I say this very kind of, I don't say this blandly, but would a man check breasts, as a woman would probably more man? What kind of symptoms would a man have if it presented themselves with possible complications?
So again, a man would present with a lump, and this is something we see frequently. The most common cause of a lump in a male is a term called gynecomastia, which is essentially breast tissue in a male. It commonly occurs with specific medications that are taken, and in fact, in the young population, it's using cannabis is probably the commonest cause in a young teenager or a 20-year-old that we see this frequently. They don't seem to know that. It's not written for them. But in a male, their presentation is typically with a lump, and the same diagnostic process goes on of doing a mammogram and doing an appropriate biopsy. But it is a very small amount of our workload, given the percentage for one male breast cancer for every 200 females.
And the mortality rate?
So it used to be believed back in the 80s, there was evidence to say that male breast cancer was associated with a worse prognosis. Now, the current literature would suggest that the outcome is the same, male and female breast cancer. That may be because the treatments for breast cancer have improved over the last 2 decades. We have much more effective therapies for breast cancer, both in male and female. So the current view is that the outcome from male breast cancer is equivalent to female breast cancer.
Thank you very much.
So again, the message is that for men out there to check themselves, and that you'd recommend that anyway. That's critically important.
I think being breast aware goes for men as well.
Just the chair, just to add as well that some BRCA testing is also done to support.
So there you go, guys. You heard that there from that committee yourselves. And I just let that extra bit play out there as well. Just to highlight the threat there too, man. Because breast cancer it does affect a small percentage of men out there as well. So it is important that you do regularly maybe keep an eye on any irregularities that might be forming in your body. It's important that we're just a body aware, that you're aware of what your body is like and that you're regularly keeping an eye on it, because early detection is paramount when it comes to surviving cancers. But within that, you're listening to what that guy is talking about there. Again, you're listening and you think of what he's saying there is that, like, cannabis use by young men is attributing to an increase in breast cancer within young men, but it's not. That's not even the truth. Like, when you actually go and look it up online, and in fact, like, you go over to the John Hopkins, and that's quite a reputable source of information there. But you go over to John Hopkins, and they actually have quite a bit of information up there about gynecomastia. Gynecomastia. Jeez, struggling with that one. But this is taken here from the John Hopkins Medicine's website about gynecomastia. And gynecomastia is a condition of overdevelopment of or enlargement of the breast tissue in men or boys. The breast becomes larger, they may grow unevenly. Gynecomastia often happens when a preteen or teenage boy is going through the hormonal changes of puberty, but it can also happen to newborn babies and to men as they age. What causes gynecomastia? Gynecomastia is usually a benign condition. It may be linked to many different causes of hormone changes. In many cases, the cause isn't known. But more importantly, going down here, it has some of the conditions which may be linked to it. But down here then, quite black and white, gynecomastia is not linked to breast cancer. It is not linked to breast cancer. Why in the name of God is Arnold Hill bringing this up when they're talking about breast cancer? Like, what's the guy's motive in this? Like, because it's incredibly misleading what he done there in that statement. They're talking about breast cancer screening, and he brings up the fact that 1 in every 200, so there was, like, I think they said 3,700 cases in Ireland, so you're talking about just shy of 19 people 19 men who were diagnosed with breast cancer in Ireland, and he's saying the leading cause of breast lumps in men is cannabis. So that would make you believe that those 19 men who developed breast cancer in Ireland, out of that 3,700 who were detected, had developed it because of cannabis. That's not the case. That's not true at all. Incredibly misleading. Incredibly what in the name of God is had that in any relevance at all to do with it? Again, what this man is based in his statement upon there is a lot of misleading research that was done going back to the 70s and 80s, when they were trying to attribute cannabis use to a downregulation of testosterone. But this isn't the case again. Like this was shown in certain animal model studies, but again, when you looked at this actually in the real world, it wasn't the case at all. In fact, once studies were actually done on this, using real world samples, going out there into the real world, it was actually found that cannabis use was associated with an increase in testosterone in males. So contrary to what the propagandist wanted us to believe back in the 70s and 80s, what we're finding now in these large studies, and quite reputable studies as well, these studies, it's not just some fella out on the sidewalk asking a bunch of people questions. These are studies being carried out by the American Nutrition Council. So it was a survey that was actually done. Just looking for the. Sorry, just pulling up this study here now for you. Endocrine effects of cannabis. Jeez, I have so many bloody studies open here now, actually. There we go. So it was the National Health and Nutrition Board. So they put out a survey, and they do this regularly. So going back to 2011 and 2012, they first published some data which suggested that cannabis use is actually attributed to an increase in testosterone levels. And it wasn't the amount of which was used, but it was actually the time in which it was used prior to the study being conducted, to the examination being taken. It led to an increase there in testosterone, but it was significant. It was a small but significant increase, and the increase was only noticeable in those who were regular users of THC, and those who used cannabis but were not regular users. And just to put it into definition there for you, a regular user of cannabis is defined as a person who uses cannabis at least once per month, every month for at least 1 year. So that's how they define a regular user of cannabis. Once a month, every month for at least 1 year to be regarded as a regular user of cannabis. When you actually get into the findings, some people were using the THC cannabis in excess of was it like 200 times a month? So you're talking about like 5 or 6 times a day or something like that. But yeah, no issues there at all. But this is where the link then between gynecomastia and cannabis use was first associated, because the development of gynecomastia is because of an imbalance between testosterone and estrogen. When a developing male body has an imbalance of these two compounds, testosterone and estrogen, i.e. having a lower amount of testosterone and a higher amount of estrogen, that leads to the development of breast tissue in males. Do you want to know what's another leading cause of gynecomastia in young males? Especially in Ireland, given our cultural use of this product, milk. Drinking milk. Like if you're a young fella and you drink milk, well, you're getting an unnatural amount of estrogen then in your diet, because milk from cows has actually got quite a bit of estrogen in there. Not a lot, but enough that if you were to be maybe a person who drank, let's say, a pint of milk a day, and I know many people out there who'd love to sit down for their spuds and bacon and have a pint of milk alongside of it. But that pint of milk could contribute to the development of that gynecomastia. Are we going to be telling people, oh, hey, don't be drinking milk at all because you're going to get some bitch tits? Well, look, actually, there's no real problem with bitch tits. They're not even attributed to cancer. It's just body image more than anything, actually. So yeah, that's coming out of the health committee there. But I saw somebody actually brought it up there in the comments about alcohol. Well, I've another little video, an excerpt taken from that same health committee. And it's funny enough, because if you were to go over to Reddit, and I'll pop it up on Reddit there for you, just so you can see the article. But this is the article that's up there on Reddit, and has a picture there of Arnold Hill, the cancer surgeon who was made the statement himself. But that's the headline: Cannabis, top cause of breast lumps. Look, you think of the damage that's been done out there, okay? Top cause of breast lumps, all right? We're talking about 1 in every 200 cases is a man who develops breast cancer. So you're talking about in Ireland, 3,700 cases. There are less than 19 people. We go on over and I play this video, and there's a number given in this video. Pay attention, and we'll come back to it there in a couple of seconds.
Breast cancer risk. Now, HRT will also decrease the risk of ovarian cancer and maybe gallstones, and even may reduce the risk of Alzheimer's in the long term. So again, it's weighing up benefits and risks. I mean, what I'd say...
Deputy Shortall.
One question with Martin, please. Martin, can you quantify the risk associated with alcohol?
It's hard to do this in terms of population-based studies, Deputy, but it's estimated in some studies that it may be as high as 10 or 12% of breast cancers can be associated with alcohol intake.
Okay.
Kind of a high level of alcohol intake, or moderate, or what?
Probably moderate. Obviously, high carries other problems in terms of liver disease and guidelines that indicate that for women and men that there are different levels of alcohol intake that are potentially safe. But certainly, I think alcohol is one big risk factor. I think the obesity epidemic that we're looking at currently in society is also a very big problem.
I need to move back to the member.
So there you go. You hear that yourself there from the health committee. Like the alcohol is attributed to maybe between 10 and 12% of the cases of breast cancer. So why is that not the headline? Why is that not the headline that the Oireachtas Health Committee hears that alcohol is attributed to between 10 and 12% of breast cancers diagnosed in Ireland? Why is that not the case? Like, because 3,700, well, if you take 10 or 12% of that, let's say 10% because it's an easy number to work with, you're talking about 370 people who get diagnosed with breast cancer that's possibly attributed to their alcohol use. And he's not even talking about like excessive alcohol use. He's talking there about moderate alcohol use. That's disturbing stuff, guys. That is incredibly disturbing stuff. All things considering, you've got headlines going out there completely fear-mongering the population about cannabis use. And then meanwhile, alongside of that, within the same health committee, they're talking about like over 300 people who get cancer possibly attributed to their alcohol use. That doesn't make the headlines. What's going on there? And again, as I say, like the fact that Gino Kenny was the one who was asking the questions there, you have to wonder, had it anything to do with Gino and his upcoming bill there for cannabis legalisation in Ireland? I think something stinks anyway, and it's not the cannabis in this situation. No, it is not. But we just sent that link off to... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, somebody else saying it there. I forgot to mention success of cannabis in cancer studies, and I actually included a headline that we had here on the show the other day, which was that a lung cancer patient who used nothing but what they described as CBD oil, but actually turns out to be THC 1-to-1 ratio with CBD. They shrunk their cancer by over 70%. You won't hear about that in the health committee. You won't hear about that at all. Or the other headline that I covered there last week as well, which was that over 50% of people in America who were diagnosed with breast cancer, who were being treated for breast cancer, utilise cannabis. whether it be to treat their cancer or to treat the symptoms associated with their treatment of the cancer, i.e. their chemotherapy. But they don't talk about that either here in Ireland. Why not? Why not? Well, why not talk about the fact that those that almost 50% of cancer patients over there who've been access to legal cannabis benefit from better appetite, better sleep, better mood, just overall higher quality of life, and the pun was definitely intended there in that as well. But it's just rather sickening that that's what we see here in Ireland versus, across in America where patients actually have access to this plant. Right, 1 second there now. As we wait for Aimee to join us. Aimee, that link is in your message box there over on Facebook if you're still in the Cannabis Cafe and if you want to join me there for an old chat. But we'll drive on. Give me 1 second there, guys, as we wait for Aimee. I apologise, I'm jumping in and out of the fucking screen. Just going to get Ishka. Sorted. Decent. Right, I see Aimee hasn't seen the message yet anyway. So we'll drive on and we'll keep an eye out for Aimee in the waiting room, and as she joins in, sure, we'll let you know. Daily Talker, really sorry to hear that, Podge. 2 years ago, a good friend of mine overdosed with alcohol and his heart stopped. Guys, alcohol is a dangerous drug, and it's one that we allow adults to kind of make consenting choices about their consumption. We educate them about the dangers of it, and we allow them off out into the big, brave, world to kind of navigate it for themselves. But no, when it comes to cannabis, the government's like, well, no, this one is too dangerous. If you use this one, it's so bad that, we're going to ruin your life if we catch you with it. Like... But meanwhile, no excessive amount of cannabis use could actually ruin your life, unlike alcohol use, Hey Martin, Aimee here. The video keeps freezing on my phone. Where's the invite sent? That's over in your inbox there. I see her after seeing it there anyway, so happy days. We'll keep an eye out for you there in the Zoom waiting room. Scatanist, she wrote a book and now scientists are calling for more research. Late to the party, but better than never. Nice, what's Aimee? Send the ID, please, pal. Oh, sorry, Aimee, I'll sort that out there now. 1 second. Won't open it on the browser. Boom, boom. Boom, hopefully that does the trick there for you, Aimee. Sweet, so let's accommodate for Aimee on the screen there, so while we wait. So Aimee's coming at us, guys, from the lovely Barcelona. She's going to be coming at us from one of the cannabis clubs down there, actually, as well. So this will be a nice addition to today's 420 news. Completely unexpected on my end as well, but seeing the opportunity, I won't let it go to waste. So there's the Zoom window open there. We see myself again. I'll cut myself off of the screen once Aimee joins. So we'll hide that there in a sec. Oh, I see Aimee's probably in the waiting room there, is she? Participants? Nope, not yet. Soon. We get through one more headline, will we? We get through one more as we go up to Louth, County Louth. We're above in County Louth. Gardaí have seized €77,000 worth of drugs in the form of cannabis, cocaine and ketamine. And a young man aged in his 23 and a woman aged 27 were arrested at the scene and detained by the Drogheda Garda Station, and they were detained at Drogheda Garda Station under Section 4 of the Criminal Justice Act of 1984. So again, another shining example as to how prohibition makes the world a much more dangerous place, because if you're a young person out there and if you're going down to buy a bit of cannabis, well, guess what? You now got access to cocaine and ketamine also. So that's an incredibly dangerous situation to be in. We've got, again, two young people having their entire future jeopardised now. Two people who are going to more than likely be a burden upon the welfare state here, going to cost the taxpayers more money because they're less employable. And they're going to be taking up possibly room within our prisons as well, meaning that violent thugs will be possibly back in our street sooner than needed in order to make room for these non-violent drug offenders. Again, if you buy a bit of cannabis off of these guys, you'd be quite happy to receive it. Whereas if you were assaulted or attacked by some of the thugs that might get out now sooner because of these guys taking up more room, you don't want that treatment at all. In the course of the search, there was €22,000 worth of cocaine, 5,000 worth of ketamine, and 5,000 worth of cocaine, 50,000 worth of ketamine, and €22,000 worth of cannabis. They also seized a BMW X5 Jeep, so quite a nice old Jeep there again, to benefit the pockets of the Criminal Assets Bureau, who'll raffle that off or auction that off. Oh, I see Amy's in the waiting room, so let's head on over to Aimee now. And boom, let's hope Amy's got a good connection. All right, Aimee.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. You?
Yeah, I can hear you clear now.
Excellent. It's going to get you up on screen there for everybody else to see. Boom, there we go. Lovely stuff. That seems like a nice mellow place anyway. Like the lighting there in the background looks rather relaxing.
It is. It's very mellow, and I keep forgetting that it's bright outside, so I have to put my sunglasses on as soon as I go out. I'm blinded, like.
I know.
But I'm not actually in Barcelona. I'm in Torremolinos. I'm staying in Malaga, but there was no cannabis clubs local, so we get a taxi up to Torremolinos.
Ah, nice. Okay, so that's not too far, really, is it?
No, it's only about maybe 20 minutes in a taxi. It's not too bad.
That's the job, and it doesn't cost as much as a taxi over here in Ireland either.
Sure, what we're saving on the grams, it's kind of for nothing anyway, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So what have you gotten offered there at the moment now?
At the minute here, I'll see if I can flip my camera here. So, here we go. Yeah. So like, it's such a cool vibe. The candles, and you can obviously get water and Coke and whatever you need, like, you know, drinks.
Nice.
So today I have some Blue Monster, some I can't even say that now. Some mango fruits.
Some mango, nice.
The mango fruits. Ghost OG. That's a really heavy hitter now. That was really nice for nighttime. And the cantaloupe then was the last one. That's sativa, and it's very, very tasty. I'm smoking that at the moment.
Nice. Yeah, I've had some chocolate in the past, which is like a child of the cantaloupe, I suppose. But that was a really nice, very uplifting sativa as well. Like, you'd smoke it all day long, and you wouldn't be stoned, but you're just going to be like really energized and creative in the mind.
That's exactly how I felt. I said to Kate, for whatever reason now, I feel like I have loads of energy, and I was dying this morning, Martin. I had an awful morning pain-wise. So, and I ran out of weight, so I had no choice but to come up, like, and all of a sudden, I just feel like a new person. And Kate there, she got some Ultra OG, some Ghost OG, Northern Lights, and there was strawberry cookies. So there's loads of strains on offer, like, and there's a cool setting, like, there's a pool table too, actually.
Nice.
two pool tables, a few tunes going in the background here, and then all the seating arrangements, and then I'm conscious of people not being on camera.
Yeah, you're grand.
The YouTube then is in the background on the other telly. So it's a cool vibe, like.
Yeah, that seems like really kind of comfortable setting. It like what more could you really want when it comes to enjoying some cannabis? Really nice furniture to chill out in. Really nice mood setting lighting. You know, because you don't want it to be overly bright either inside of there. Given that you're consuming some cannabis.
Exactly, and then I spoke to the guy on WhatsApp first because I didn't want to get a taxi all the way before I knew I was going to get somewhere, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I rang around a couple of places close by, and they were either out of service or shut down or whatever. So when I got in touch with this guy, he sent me the info on WhatsApp, but said he wouldn't discuss prices because only members, you know, and that's fair enough. Like, obviously there's competition between the clubs and whatnot. So I had to check with him to make sure it was okay that I come on with you, just to be safe. And he said that it was totally fine, just not to discuss prices. But I can say that the membership is €20. So I'm allowed to say that much, and I can say that it's really good prices in my opinion anyway.
Brilliant, yeah. And you're a member now, so I'd imagine.
I can't really hear you, sorry, one second, it's just the shutters are coming down again, 1 second.
I think it's time for a bong hit while we wait for that.
That's it, get bowling while they're waiting. Yeah, so it was a really cool setup when I rang your man. He sent me the information on WhatsApp, and he even sent me a video of how to find the place when I get out of a taxi, because it's kind of in like a shopping centre kind of thing, but the shutters are always down, so you have to ring the buzzer and then they let you in then.
Ah, nice, happy days. So that's kind of what they operate under a closed door kind of a policy. They'll open the door when you arrive, but it's not open to the public.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Sweet,
so
happy days.
It's great now.
And for you, the cannabis, like you're happy with the quality that's down there at the moment?
Oh, 100%.
Nice.
Like, and I was doing great for the first week. I'm out here about 10 days now, I think. And I was great pain-wise and stuff for the first week, but I done an awful lot more walking, a lot more exercise than I would have had at home. And I think it all just caught up on me then on Saturday night, and I've been in bits for the last 4 days.
Oh, okay.
So even with the good quality cannabis, I'm still suffering because I was overcompensating exercise-wise compared to what I'd be at home.
Yeah.
So I know myself, like, the limits have been all fucked up.
Yeah, the body needs to catch up a bit, like, because of the extra medication over there. You're overworking it a bit.
Definitely, absolutely. And the doctor has me on new painkillers now. They're called Scudexa. So they're actually tramadol and diphene in one tablet, and I can't take either of those on their own because they rip the stomach out of me.
Yeah.
So I take these very, very rarely, and twice now I've had to take them over here. I took one on Sunday, and I took one today. And it's like they make me feel so nauseous, so I have to counteract that then with another anti-sickness tablet because the cannabis alone doesn't do it because they're so strong. Like.
Yeah. And did you have to take that today because you were without cannabis, or would you have
even with cannabis?
That the pain was that bad.
Stuff this morning, and I still needed it. Like, I needed an extra. I couldn't get out of the bed. Like, I was screaming with contractions.
Sure. Yeah. Lovely. Can I ask, you're over there now at the moment. You were saying that getting access to the club, you have to travel. Does that mean that there's the laws are kind of changing over there? I know they were talking recently about Barcelona kind of clamping down on some of their clubs, but is that happening elsewhere, so across the rest of Spain?
Well, I'm not too sure. I must be, because I found one that was in Malaga City, which was really close by. And sorry, I don't know why my phone is like that.
Yeah,
I found one close by, and the reviews on it were epic. Like, it looked really good, but the number was out of service, and it said closed on Google. So I don't know what happened.
Ah, damn. That's unfortunate there. Like, as Spain was always kind of seen as a good spot to go to get access to cannabis, and it seems like they're kind of heading backwards now almost. But it's good to hear that they still have clubs like the one you're in right now, and you're able to get access to the cannabis over there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sure, you know me, I would have been lost without it. Like, I wouldn't have coped.
Yeah, and it seems like it's quite enough in there as well at the moment. Is it the club?
It is, yeah. At the moment, there's only 2 others in here. Now, when we came in first, there was kind of people on all the seats.
Oh,
But
really? Yeah.
people come and go, and you know, it's quiet enough now at the minute, and I'm kind of glad. I would have been too paranoid to come on if the club had been full. You know, for
Fair
people
enough.
that don't want to be on camera, like.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. All right, given yeah, I suppose there's still a lot of people who are I don't know, would you say embarrassed or just in the closet about their use of cannabis, like so. It
It's
is.
just a shame, you
It
know, the
is. Yeah.
usual conditioning and shame. Like it's
Yeah.
internal. It's
Because
because of the external.
if you were in a pub right now, like, would you give a shit about like pointing your camera at anybody else? Like, you know, you'd be like, hey, fucking, you know, just swinging it around. You can give a crap,
You
like,
wouldn't even consider it.
no,
That's a fact, actually. I didn't even think of it like that.
yeah,
And it's mad even because one of the girls who was over here with us who doesn't consume cannabis came up and paid the membership just to sit in with me and one of the others the other night. And she lit up a fag and I said, Maria, I'm not being smart. I'm actually not sure if you're allowed to smoke fags in here.
oh, stop,
In the cannabis club. And she said, are you for real? I was like, well, yeah. But it turned out it was fine. But even to have that, like, you know, we're all smoking pints around her and she can't smoke a fag. What you mean? You know, she was mind blown by that. Like,
that makes it really it would. I can remember when I first was countered with that over in Amsterdam. And your man was coming over and he was giving out, and I was kind of like, what's this guy's problem? And he was like, oh, you can't be smoking inside. And I was just like, but I just bought the weed there. And it was like, no, the tobacco. He was like, get it off the table. Like, don't have the cigarettes on the table. He didn't really mind that I was mixing my tobacco into a joint, but it was just like, no, you can't have your tobacco on the table inside. He was like, get outside.
it's nearly like an insult, like, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's actually kind of the way it should be in when you think about it, because tobacco, it is probably a known.
It's killing us.
It's a known carcinogen, and you look at cannabis, it doesn't seem to be a carcinogen. If in fact it's maybe potentially the opposite.
Yeah.
Despite what your man Arnold Hill might have been that nonsense he was talking. Did you catch that part of the news there a few minutes ago?
Oh, yeah, it was irritating me. I was rolling, that's why I wasn't commenting. I wasn't in the conversation. But yeah, Jesus, what an a-hole. And I think you're right as well that it definitely has something to do with the fact that Gino's bill is what's coming up, and it was his question.
Yeah.
Do you know, I don't think he would have made that statement if anybody else had have asked that question. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel that way as well, because I had to scour through most of that. It's like a 3 hour long committee conference that went on. And yeah, nobody else he brought that up. It was only to Gino, and it was completely like irrelevant to the question that was asked. It was like, should men check their breasts? Well, yeah, because like cannabis is the leading cause of breast lumps, and then you look into the breast lumps, and actually these aren't even have anything to do with breast cancer at all.
Nothing, and not to mention that 50%, as you said, of breast cancer women in America are treating it with cannabis anyway.
There you go. Like you have to wonder, like who's paying these guys? What are their vested interests there to make them so, I don't know, like ignorant to the facts? You know, that the fact that like there's over 50%, almost 50% of cancer patients are using this to either treat the symptoms of the treatment of their cancer, or you know, a couple of them believe that it's actually treating the cancer itself. Such was the case.
Yeah.
The woman in that British Medical Journal, the case study that was done, a 70% reduction attributed to the CBD oil, which was a 1-to-1 THC to CBD when you actually read this study. But they don't bring that up in the health committee. Why? You don't understand.
It's ridiculous. Like it doesn't suit the narrative for Big Pharma. Like a lot of them in the comments even was saying about Big Pharma.
Yeah, that there is a lot of people do believe that Big Pharma have a big vested interest in keeping cannabis from the masses because of its healing potential. If cannabis is as healing as what many people believe it is, then you have to imagine how much money is going to be lost if me or you can just grow this freely out our back garden.
there's no money in healthy people, and I've said that for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Like even the increase of antidepressants now in the UK since Brexit, like it's insane how much big pharma are after improving off people's fucking depression and mental health.
Yeah. No, it's so true. Yeah,
It's crazy. Like,
I'll leave you get back to enjoying the rest of your evening over there, and I'll ask you for anything else you want to add in, because it's I'm absolutely delighted to get you to join in and just kind of show people the normal side of things. Like, you know, although what you're doing is still illegal, it's like it's tolerated.
it's in a grey area,
Yeah.
isn't it? Really, like I know one of the women. I only know her through Instagram. She had a really decent following. She's a comedian from Cork, Kyla Cobbler. And she's after opening a cannabis club up in Barcelona, Club Guru, if anyone is heading over for a match or anything. It's funny, my nephew went over last week for a match, was supposed to be there for one night, and he ended up there 11 days later, 4 missed flights. He had such a ball, he ended up staying that long. So
Nice.
if anyone is heading over there, that's a club to hit up. And she even does rolling classes and, you know, stuff like that. Like, so she's really engaging in the education side of stuff,
Nice.
which I thought was really important. But when I knew I was in Malaga at the same time as Darren was in Barcelona, I said maybe we can meet up. And she's like, Google mapped it, and we would have been back to Ireland and here 2.5 times by the time he'd got from Barcelona to me. It was like 9.5 hours away in the car.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trek. All right, Spain is quite big.
So it's a big old country, like, and there's cannabis clubs everywhere, lads. So explore.
Nice.
Weed Maps is great as well. You know, if you're looking for recommendations for different strains and stuff, because I know especially for patients, if they're going away, they will often try and kind of source a specific strain that works for them. So it's really helpful, like, to do the research before you're going anywhere as well.
Definitely nice one. That's some great recommendations there. So it was Kyla Cobbler at what was the name of the club?
It's Cannabis. I think the Insta handle is CNC Guru.
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 Perfect. CNCGURU. Perfect. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out myself as well.
Yeah, defo. Especially if we're going to go over for Spanibus in March, that would be really, really great.
Excellent. Can I ask one more thing before I leave you go? What way is the hash over there? Have you got much hash? Have you tried the hash at all?
Haven't even seen it, actually.
No?
I don't even know. Have any? Excuse me, do you do hash in the club? Hash? No, just bud. No. It's not legal. Oh, I see. Okay, so weed is legal. Okay, the owner was just explaining that the hash is not legal here, so if they can't sell it here. So whatever bud is on the counter is legal. So I assume there's regulations with farmers, and you know, you have to abide by specific regulations or whatever.
Nice. Yeah. They're probably a part of. There's like 2 federations over there of cannabis clubs. One set of them will grow their own cannabis, and then there's another kind of the other half of them will buy in off of the black market. They don't really grow their own cannabis. So you're probably in one that does its own in-house production, like they grow and sell their own cannabis.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So for in my opinion, I would definitely prefer those clubs rather than the ones buying in off the black market anyway, because you don't know what you're getting there off the black market. At least when it's grown in-house, there's control there.
This is it, you know, from seed to flower, exactly what you're smoking.
There you go. Yeah. Well, enjoy, Amy, and enjoy the rest of your break, and I look forward to catching up to you there again when you get back.
Definitely, Martin. Thanks a million. It was great to see you, and thanks for letting us come on and share.
Not a bother at all. Catch you later, Amy. Enjoy.
Okay, bud. Peace out.
Stay blessed. Bye.
Bye.
So there we go, guys. That was a nice addition there to today's 420 news. I hope you enjoyed that. It was unexpected. Amy threw out the invite there, an opportunity to have her on through the comments. So I wasn't going to let that slip by. Amy is, as she said there, she's actually in Torremolinos, in one of the cannabis clubs over there. She's sitting down enjoying some kind of a grey area purchased cannabis, and not the grey area in Amsterdam, no, just the grey area in which cannabis clubs operate under in Spain or across Spain. But again, thanks very much there to Aimee Brown, guys, over on Endo with Amy on Instagram. So amazing page. Definitely want to follow if you haven't yet already done so. And a past guest on the show too. So check that interview out as well if you haven't seen it yet. But isn't it crazy, you know, like you get on an airplane, head on over there about maybe 2 to 3 hours away, depending on where you fly from, and you land, and you're completely you're tolerated in a completely different way by the society, because they accommodate now in a certain way for your consumption of cannabis. You know, you've seen that there in the picture. You got some nice pool tables there. So the potential for me now as a consumer of cannabis to go down and go into that place, I could meet other like-minded people, and I could go down on my own, and before I knew it, I could have 3 or 4 new friends. Whereas now, today, in today's society, the way in which we operate in Ireland under prohibition, it's very hard to make like-minded friends. It's very hard to trust one another as well when it comes to cannabis. A lot of us are fearful of letting other people know the fact that we consume cannabis. So that puts a big barrier there in terms of like our ability to socialize with one another and get to know one another and build and grow our community. Many of you have actually even said that out there yourselves in the audience. If it wasn't for this show and other shows like it, like the High and Homegrown podcast, you wouldn't have been able to find other like-minded people that for a while before you found the shows like my own, you believed that like you were alone almost, like that there wasn't many other people out there who believe and thought in the same way such as yourself, such as in the way in which you do. But then you find a show and you find the audience out there. So we need venues like that so we can continue to do that. Because not everybody's on YouTube or Facebook or any of these places. Like, how many people are out there right now alone, with nobody to kind of communicate with and to socialize with? That's a terrible position to be stuck in, you know. Also, just gotta give a quick shout out there to Hype. Hype got in, and I was a bit of support to the show there about 45 minutes ago. Apologies there for delaying getting the shout out there, Hype. It was kind of hidden between behind one of the lower thirds at the time, but always appreciated, man. Number one supporter there of the show at the moment. Legend Hype, well done, nice one. So we drive on from there anyway, guys, and we get through the rest of today's 420 news, and we go from Spain, where Aimee's enjoying cannabis, to back here in Ireland, where cannabis worth €150,000 has been seized from a property in County Monaghan. And this was approximately 9 p.m. on Monday night. The Gardaí attached to the Carrickmacross Garda station carried out a search of a house in Carrickmacross under Operation Tara. And under Operation Tara, in the property, they found €150,000 worth of suspected cannabis plants and dried cannabis herb. So I'll pop up on screen here for you some of the cannabis, and you could see this, like, this is only just like freshly trimmed. You see some of it there behind is probably still spread out, drying, and then the rest of it's inside in a cardboard box. Like, some hard work there. Unfortunately, they're not going to bear the fruits of that labour, because now the Gardaí are going to destroy it all. But a nice little setup that they had here, in fairness. Quite a few cannabis plants in there. Great potential there, you know, to supply a high quality product to the local community. But unfortunately, here in Ireland, we waste like thousands of euro as part of this operation. Sorry, millions of euro as part of this Operation Tara, in order to ruin people's lives. A man in his 20s was arrested at the scene and is currently detained at the Carrickmacross Garda station under provisions of the Section 2 Criminal Justice Drugs Trafficking Act of 1996. So again, a man in his 20s, early 20s as well at that, you know, another young man here. So that's like 3 young people's lives here in less than an hour that are being ruined. And almost €1 million worth of cannabis that was seized this week as well, because the next seizure was quite a sizable one too, and it led to another seizure. But this was in County Carlow, where the Gardaí, carrying out a stop and search operation on the M9 motorway, detected €460 worth of cannabis, and a man in his 30s was arrested at the scene. So again, you look at this like quite an amount of cannabis, or you slap a 20% tax on that there, and you're talking about like what's that, like almost 100 grand. Like you're talking about over 80,000 euro there that could have been used for the local community. Think about the great things your local GA club could be doing with that 80 fucking grand. But instead, no, we continue to line the pockets of organised crime gangs and allow them to flourish under this fucking model of prohibition, which is only effective at preventing maybe up to 1% of the drugs actually reaching the streets, you know. But again, you know, as part of this operation, this led to a follow-up search of another property in County Wexford in the Bunclody area, and down there they found another 304,000 euro worth of cannabis. So all in all, there between those two properties, you're talking about 764,000 euro worth of cannabis. Throw in the other 150 there from earlier on, and you're almost to €1 million worth of cannabis seized this week alone. And 3 young people's lives ruined, and a man in his 30s also, you know, having his future jeopardised as well as part of this. But meanwhile, you know, what are we how are we benefiting as a society from this? Because all we're really doing here, these young people, this man in his 30s, we're just ruining their future life, but we're not actually stopping or preventing the supply of drugs to people who want to engage in illicit drug use. No, we're not. All we're doing is actually just making it more dangerous for them, because as these raids and seizures happen, as the idea out there that cannabis is now scarce, that only benefits the criminals. You know, so if you have some massive seizures being made, then you're going to have criminals out there turning around and kind of holding back supplies and then releasing it maybe a week later and saying, hey, that ounce that was like 300 euro there last week, well, that's now like 500 euro this week because it's harder to get by. But meanwhile, like, they're sitting on the same kind of couple of kilos there from the couple of weeks that ago that they decided that they were going to stop selling it, you know, in order to kind of bump up the price. And that definitely goes on out there, you know, where there's organised crime gangs, and they kind of tamper with the supply. They can kind of turn down the supply in order to make an appearance that there's a scarcity there, especially following big raids or big seizures such as these, and they bump up the price. But also what happens there, like maybe not so much with cannabis, but definitely with the likes of cocaine and heroin, the purity kind of goes down, the amount of contaminants actually goes up within these drugs, because they adulterate the remainder of the drug supply then in order to kind of stretch it, which is ever more dangerous then for the drug users out there. So it's just, we all know this, the prohibition of drugs is just a massive bloody failure. If we were to take that almost, is it 900,000 euro worth of cannabis there from seizures starting from just Saturday, so in the space of 5 days, just in alone, you would generated almost €250,000 there for the taxpayers. You know, €250,000, like that's a house there for a family in Ireland. And there would be a lot more than that to be made, really, like when it comes down to it, you know. Because we're a green old nation. We like our herbs. Yes, and happy belated 420 to everybody out there in the Azores and anywhere else it might be 420 right now. I think Bakar is another one of those. It's 6 minutes past 420 now, so yeah, slightly belated. I see Podge out there getting the reminder in for me, nice one. Which that's all of the bad news for today in Ireland anyway. Kind of actually. There is another headline here coming out of Ireland, which is again highlighting the struggle faced by farmers in Ireland in order to get involved in the cannabis green rush, or the hemp green rush, depending on your political allegiance there or where you stand on this. Like, a lot of people who grow this plant want to believe that it's not cannabis. They're trying to say that cannabis is a narcotic and what we grow is hemp. I'm not even going to get into that side of it anyway, but yeah, this is an article that was up in the Irish Sun, and it featured 2 of Ireland's hemp farmers. It featured Marcus McCabe of Cannasutricals, and it also featured Ed Hanbridge of Hemptech. And both people speaking here are hemp growers in Ireland, so they know what it's like. Marcus McCabe is a hemp grower in Ireland for 18 years now. It says on his website, so he's got 18 years experience of growing hemp in Ireland. I hope to have him on the podcast in the not too distant future, because he seems like an interesting individual. Also a member of the Santo Daime spiritual practice there, or religion, depending on what you might want to call it. But I hope to have him on there in the not too distant future, just to kind of speak about the industry here in Ireland and kind of all that is going on here. But you know, they're highlighting the fact that Ireland's cannabis industry is being restricted. You know, farmers here, you know, Ed Hambridge bringing up the fact that he can't even get credit card companies or payment processors to facilitate payments on his website, because his product is associated with the devil's lettuce, you know. And also the fact that Marcus McKay brings it up as well, that they can't even utilize the whole plant, that they're not allowed to use the majority of the plant, thereby robbing the farmers of a massive amount of potential profits off of the land. Cannabis is probably one of the most versatile crops out there at the moment, with a real high potential for return there for farmers. It's, in some cases, it's like 300 times or 300% more profitable than other crops. So a crazy difference there, but farmers aren't allowed to use it. They have to destroy the flowers because of the drug nature of them, you know. So again, the farmers in Ireland being robbed of it. Also included in this was Chris Allen of the Hemp Federation Ireland. She also wrote to the Agriculture Minister, Charlie McConaughey. Geez, here we go again. Green tea, are you out there? Conaghy. Carlow in February of this year to complain that the Irish authorities were failing to meet the EU standards, and that was referring to EU Court of Justice ruling that CBD derived from the plant is not a narcotic, and that all sources of CBD are considered EU food products. And then, you know, however, the FSCI, you know, they're kind of like, no, sorry, we got you. Cannabis is a drug, and there's nothing you can do about it. We don't care about the environment. We only care about continuing to perpetuate this failed prohibition of cannabis, and to keep young people in harm's way by allowing organised crime gangs freedom to sell adulterated cannabis jellies on our schoolyards in Ireland, free of any regulations. That's the position of the FSAI currently in Ireland. Great bunch of lads over there. But yeah, you can go and read that one in its entirety yourself. It's quite a long piece up there, and that's on the Irish Sun, I believe it was. But the headline of that piece was as follows: farmers on struggle to get hemp crops recognised to help solve Ireland's energy crisis. But yeah, we've talked about this in the past loads of times on the show. Because of cannabis prohibition, it's pretty much impossible for Ireland's farmers to grow this crop. Because of cannabis prohibition, there is no infrastructure here in Ireland for processing this crop. Do you know, if you went back only 100 years ago, hemp was being grown around Ireland, no bother at all. That was used for its fibres, and it was used for food production as well, because it was a staple food crop there as well for animals, and a really good one at that too, which added value to the meat and to the byproducts of those animals, such as eggs and milk as well, because they now would have carried the cannabinoids there, delivering some health benefits to the consumers. But we no longer have that, unfortunately, do we? No. So yeah, that's it from Ireland, and we head to Europe for one more headline, guys, and this is the final one then today. But this is coming out of Luxembourg, who were in the news recently for their decriminalisation. I'm not going to call it legalisation, because it's not. I don't see it as legalisation. It's a decriminalisation of cannabis over there, which allows their citizens to grow up to 4 plants in their home, but it is completely illegal as soon as they step outside their front door. But we go back to Luxembourg today, where Tilray, apologies, wrong lower third popped up there. Boom, there we go. That's the right one now popping up. No, it's not. Where is it gone? Ah, yes. Why is that not working? Damn you. Right, I have no idea why that one is not working. But Tilray were approved for sale. Their medical cannabis was approved for sale in Luxembourg. So Tilray have been given approval by the Luxembourg Ministry of Health as suppliers of good manufacturing practice certified, so GMP certified medical cannabis products for the country's medical cannabis program. So, do you know, if you're a shareholder of Tilray, or if maybe you're the CEO, this is very good news there. And this is a statement coming from Erwin D. Simon, and he's the chairman and chief executive officer of Tilray. And he says that we believe that Tilray's growth potential in the European Union represents a $1 billion opportunity. And today's announcement affirms that we are turning potential into performance. With today's validation from the Luxembourg Ministry of Health, Tilray now offers branded medical cannabis in 20 countries around the world, a testament to our high standards and status as a trusted partner to patients in need. We're proud to be building in unrivaled global platforms, and we continue to advocate for for patients' access in Europe and countries around the world. And Denise Falkacek, head of international and chief strategy officer of the Tilray, she added that Tilray's mission includes an unwavering conviction that patients around the world should have access to safe, high-quality cannabinoid-based medicine. We're proud to have access to safe, high-quality cannabinoid-based medicine. We're proud to expand this effort to Luxembourg and provide patients in need with pharmaceutical-grade medical cannabis products. We are committed to being a trusted partner, and we will continue to leverage our strong medical platform to increase access to the highest quality medical cannabis for patients worldwide. But unfortunately, nothing's happening here in Ireland. We still have only, less than 40 people have access to the medical cannabis in Ireland. I think the number actually went down, so it's not good. It'll be interesting. I can remember when I was working with different groups, and we were kind of communicating a bit with Tilray, and there was some communications going on between Tilray and the Irish government. But now since Tilray have actually pulled out of wanting to supply the Irish market with cannabis. Yeah, and I believe it's because we've not included chronic pain as one of the conditions at which can be treated, which drastically reduce the customer base of the company here in Ireland, because chronic pain is quite a large portion of the use of medical cannabis. So Tilray, despite what Denise there kind of says, that that their unwavering conviction that patients around the world should have access to safe, high quality cannabinoid-based medicines. But what she left out is that they're only interested in countries where they have a higher customer base, and they'll get back to the ones with lower customer base later on, because profit's more important to these guys, really. And they're a company, like they're a for-profit company, so they make no secret of this. It's a $1 billion opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, he's highlighting the fact that it's a $1 billion opportunity, and he's not pointing out that this is an opportunity to help how many patients. It would have been more beneficial there if we were to believe that they cared about the patients, to talk about the number of patients going to be helped by this move, rather than the amount of money to be made by this move. But again, these companies, for profit, for shareholders, and patients are kind of somewhere down the list a little bit. But they are there. They do care about the patients, but profit and all of that stuff kind of comes first. But again, this is somewhat good news, because as more people get access to medical cannabis around the world, the notion that it is a medicine will become even more accepted and even more undeniable. Frank Vian and Arnold Hill and all of the rest of the boys who want to deny the fact that cannabis is a therapeutic product, Do you know that's going to become even more difficult now as even more European states open up access for their citizens, and we get to see then the benefits that people are having from this access. So it can only be a good thing in terms of a knock on around the rest of the world. It's going to just speed it up then for other countries. So that's it, guys. That is all of today's 420 news. Apologies for the rushing through those last few bits there. But as I said, we just fly through them and get those fucking depressing headlines out there of the Garda raids out of the way. But again, thanks to Aimee there for dropping in. It was a really nice addition to today's show. It was very unexpected. Oops. Oh, darn it. What's going on here now? I'm after losing you. There we go. We're back. So to the comments we go. John Finnegan, he says, there is one hemp company in Ireland, won't mention the name, that I would never support as the guy over it seems like a dickhead. He has openly said that any of the CBD sellers that got raided deserve it, and has basically said that his products is the only safe product in Ireland. I'm sure a few in the audience know about who I'm going on about. Nice, and John, appreciate that. The Irish cannabis industry is a bit of a mess here at the moment. A lot of douches out there involved in it, but a lot of nice people then as well. Even more nice people, actually. More nice people than douches. Podge85 says, so could you have 4 in flower and 4 in veg waiting then? No, I think it's just 4 plants, so I don't think that they differentiate between flower and veg at all. And like, you still get a fine, even if you get caught with 1 gram outside of your house, like, you still get like a €25 fine. And as I said, who did it punish more? Like, that's going to be the lower income person. Like, it's €25. If you're a low income earner, then that's going to be more of a hit than if you're a high income earner. Yeah, hype there, Irish Sun, and he's putting a star there for the Sun because it's a Torag newspaper. Mark Andrew Morgan, profit before pain. Chronic pain should be said slowly and let the guilt kick in. Yeah, so fucking true. Skitanis, oh my god, imagine that happening right after harvest. Referring to that raid there in where was that actually? The 150k in County Monaghan. That was in Carlow. But yeah, complete heartbreaker, because yeah, you'd imagine that was just after harvest when the lads were just after getting boxed up. You can imagine how nice that was going to be and all of that hard work, but a real heartbreaker, you know. John Finian, unless you're Uncle Stoney, you can have all of the plants you want then. What do you guys think of Aimee's addition there? What do you think of the clubs over there? Anyone have any plans of heading over anytime soon? Anyone after been recently and got some stories to share? Be interested to hear as to your own experiences over there in Spain with the clubs. Mark Andrew Morgan is as well asking Aimee, have you tried tapentadol? It's lighter on the head and tummy. Just a thought, the slow release is just gentle pain relief. So there you go, from one audience member to another. Yeah, Orange Man Bad says, I'll keep smoking my weed regardless if it's legal or not. Yeah, that's you along with the other kind of 17% of the adults of Ireland who consume, apparently. Legal or not, they're doing it. And Stephen as well out there. Stephen Kavanagh's out in the audience saying hi to Aimee and hope she's doing well. John Phantom says, I remember the first human death I experienced. My grandfather, when I was 12, we went next door that morning to say goodbye. He knew he was dying. We were in shock. I know my brother felt the same way. Got a call at noon at school to go home. Yeah, That's never easy, but everything's better with a bag of weed. Yeah, Daily Talker as well, saying hopefully none of you people die because you are greatly needed. Definitely. And Daily Talker's finally home to stir up the jars. Nice. You got some stuff curing up there, Daily Talker, yeah? What's curing up? I'm going to finish off my bowl here and I think I'll pack up another one. Civil disobedience protest. Essential on a 420 news show. Yes, I love that one. Skatanist. Skatana saying that cannabis is legal just like the Lewis is free. The Lewis is definitely free. Like I've never been asked to pay for it. They've got these cool little ornaments at the bus stop, or at the tram stop. But that's all they are. Like, you know, that you don't actually buy tickets out of them, just for entertainment purposes. Daily Talker, weed is legal in my home and everywhere I go. I consider it legal also. Can't see the government doing anything anytime soon, so it's really our responsibility to exercise our rights. Yes, love it, Daily Talker. They are dead right, man. It is exactly that. It is our responsibility to exercise our rights, especially when we have an inactive government, you know, when the government are failing to act upon the desires of the public. You know, when you've got almost 17% of the public who actively engage in the consumption of this product, and the government refuse to regulate it for them, then yes, it is our responsibility to exercise and stand up for our rights. We deserve to be protected in society, and we deserve to be respected in society. And respect of our human rights is fundamental to that. Freedom, life, and liberty. I don't want that to be taken away from me because I choose to consume cannabis. No, thank you. Hype saying, speaking of trust, anyone see the journalist snitching on all of the Instagram cannabis vendors? I didn't see that actually, Hype. I'll have to check that one out. Pop us off a link there maybe if you have a handy. Pod 85, an old lady who's getting it for nothing and is charging an arm and a leg then to buy it off. And as I was speaking of, just seen an article saying that rival factions of the USA are eyeing up the town I live in as the biggest potential cocaine empire. What? What is that? You have to send me that one as well, Hype. Those didn't come across my news desk anyway this morning. But that's crazy. So American drug fucking gangs like are eyeing up towns here in Ireland. Or where? Yeah, where are you at, Hype? You're in Ireland, aren't you, Hype? Or are you over in the UK? Other comments, Podge. I'd like to go somewhere to be honest, but a few bills need sorting first, unfortunately. Yeah, soon, Podge. Let's fucking make plans for geez, what's it called? Spanibus. Let's make plans for Spanibus. There's already talks there going on between the Cannabis Activist Alliance, but we've already got a small contingent of us going over. Let's grow our numbers and get a big old representation of the Irish cannabis community going over there to Spanibus next year. I believe it's on the 11th to the 13th of March. I believe that's the dates. So plenty of notice. Get those bills sorted, Podge. Hunter K had some special sauce CBD arrive from Irish Harvest this morning and it's quite nice. Feels chill after smoking a couple of days earlier. Nice. I've had some of that special sauce as well and quite tasty in fairness and really nice looking buds as well. And hype. I've been using CBG isolate and CBD crumble distillate and can definitely feel the calming effect. Nice. Happy days. And just a few joints with that in the afternoon. Jelly legs. Nice. Billy Bonds is out there as well. Hopefully one day cannabis will be included in the UK budget. Fingers crossed, Billy Bonds. Fingers crossed for you over there as well. John Finnegan, my mission for this year is to get my passport. Well, yeah, do you do that, John? And you join us then next year. That'll be our mission then next year, is to join us over in Spanibus. And we have a great old crack over there, we will. We just rent out an entire hotel between us. Nice, and Podge is in. Job. There we go, Podge. We'll get you on the chat there on Tuesday evening with the Cannabis Activist Alliance, and we can chat further. And Rain and Rock says, yeah, Spanibus sounds good. Nice. There we go, guys. As we said, get in touch if you want to join us. The 11th to the 13th of March, I believe. Just going to look at that now. Spanibus 2022. 11th of March to the 13th of March. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. See if we can pop this up on screen there now for you. Boom, there we go. So this is Spanibus. So 134 days, guys. 134 days to buy tickets. How much are the tickets at the moment? Won't let me buy the tickets. Coming soon. Buy tickets. Coming soon. So you can't buy tickets yet. 1 day is €18, 3 days €45. That's the early sale, which starts from the 1st of January. So there you go, guys. Save a fiver on a 3-day ticket by buying them early. That extra fiver, guys, that could be worth an entire gram of cannabis over there in Spain. If you go in during happy hour, it might be worth like 1.5 grams. But yeah, every cent counts. So the 11th to the 13th of March, anyway, guys. And that's the website there. Just looking through, see if they've got any more photos up there. I know, buddy, while I was over in France doing my bloody college placement, one of the lads went to Spain, and the fecker got to go to Spanibus while he was over doing his work placement. Spanibus gets held as well in like June or July. There's another version of it, I think, they're in a different part of Spain. And he got to go to that. Lucky fecker. Do they have gallery? Exhibitors, General Hotel, Photo Gallery. There we go. Or we look at 2019, the latest one. So it looks like good crack. They got booze there. They got booze openly there, but like, how openly is cannabis there, I wonder? You know, I've seen some dudes with bongs there a while ago, but it's just like probably the sale of a load of cannabis products. You know, pick a duck. Win a prize. I ain't seen no cannabis yet, like, you know, I've seen bongs, seen pipes, seen seed companies. Where's the goddamn cannabis? Yeah, still no cannabis. Saw a 2-for-1 offer on seeds, I guarantee you. But there definitely is cannabis, alright. There's definitely consumption areas over there. So should be an enjoyable one anyway, nonetheless. Hey, what's happening, Papa Gummy Bear? Papa Gummy Bear is just tuning in after work and says Spanibus sounds muy bueno. Muy bueno. Yes, very good indeed. Martin's World on tour. The cannabis is coming. Yes, love it, John. And yes, I see those links there as well in the comments. Nice one for that hype. Drug lords of Instagram exposed. Investigation reveals dealers are making fortunes by selling their wares online, and they even target children. We'll open this one up there for you guys. Let's just pop this up on screen so you can see what I'm seeing. This is coming in from Hype. Nice one, Hype. Boom. So this is an old photo that's up there. Who's this? Loud Fam UK, that 23. Stay lit. Stay loud, stay lit. But that's the photo they have up there with it. Hundreds of drug dealers are using Instagram to peddle potent cannabis to children in a £1 billion industry, a Daily Mail investigation has found. The problem in Facebook-owned site has mushroomed in lockdown, leading to fears of the drug causing a psychosis time bomb. They make it sound so bad, don't they? Like, you know, time bomb, psychosis time bomb. In fairness, like, if the only danger there again is prohibition, like they should be talking about the dangers of prohibition. It says here a drug baron who bragged about kidnapping and chopping off the fingers of a client is among the dealers using the social media site to earn themselves millions of pounds a year, our undercover reporters found. So I'm just going to actually get the proper link up there, as it's a bit of a different page coming through. There we go. Oh, there's a video here actually. Go away, leave me alone. I wanted to use my ad blocker. Block. Damn it. Refresh. Fucking pests. Go away. Thank you for disabling ad blocker. Loads of stuff now popping up my screen over you. Alright, let's have a look at the video they have up there. Oh, they hit me with another ad. Go away with your ad, in fairness, like. That's cheeky of them, isn't it? Cheeky. What else is it saying here? It says dealers with some with almost 30,000 followers promote their wares with enticing pictures of cannabis packaged as children's sweets, and then arrange sales via private messaging services. Because, yeah, prohibition actually works, doesn't it? Here's some of the pages up there. Oh, they want me to keep the ad on the screen so the time keeps going. Almost over there now. Boom, there we go. Let's have a look at what this is. Alright, we don't need that music. What is this? A drug baron nicknamed the Devil sells high-strength cannabis worth millions of pounds to dealers across the UK by advertising on Instagram after undercover Mail reporters contacted him on the site posing as potential clients. He agreed to meet near his North London home. He warned what happened to a customer that didn't pay.
It's going to be very bad. I took him from Stoke-on-Trent all the way down to London. I put him on a Leeds house basement. Beat him out 3 times a day. That's alternative. I cut 2 of his fingers. Thing that we cut.
The pliers.
Yeah. I cut 2 of his fingers. And I said, you've got 24 hours to make a phone call. Find the money anywhere in this planet, I don't care. I'm going to bring you all my money. He said, I can bring you the food. No. Now I want my money. Every single penny.
I want my money.
Who met with his loved ones. They brought the thing, and they got the guy with 2 fingers cut. Far in your life, a reminder to what happens when you out with someone who's true. I did that to that guy. And I went in the evening and slept like a baby. I did not care. Because my stress was that I couldn't sleep until I got it. My stress was that I have to have him on my hand. Once I have him on my hand, then he has no chance.
That's hilarious.
That's what I did.
Is this your page,
No one knows it's me. And that's just so stupid.
Do you do a lot of your sales online?
for other people that call you, but you gotta share it. Like, you know what, dude? I'm famous. I got a different big
famous.
Yeah. Place. Sometimes I tag this Instagram because I got a lot of followers on the other one.
Yeah.
So I just tag it, and I'm like.
So Instagram is good for advertising, basically.
Yeah. Advertising. Yeah. You grow yourself more.
Yeah. But it's better to advertise.
I have a place where I make them, which means anytime I make those things are gonna be 2,000 to 2,500 babies every single time, like every month.
Well, you sell out all the time.
All the time. People that every 2 months they come and get for their warehouses.
Yeah.
They come and get for their houses, whatever.
Yeah.
If you take this to Liverpool, the kilo of this will go even up to 5.5.
Yeah.
Up to 5.5. This is caramel wedding cake.
Yeah.
They found it on my Mercedes.
Yeah.
They found a gun.
Which one was it?
I think it was a PT Russian.
Was it?
Yeah.
How you get it in from Albania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I got arrested. I only stayed in jail 48 hours. And I left.
How'd you get up?
Because the thing is, they did not find anything that links me with it.
Yeah.
Never touched it. I had something on my hands. They arrested me, the one who sold it to me, because they can't think of it.
How long did he get?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea. I think he's going to get about 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turned it upside down.
Yeah.
Find nothing. But underneath, they put the dog upstairs.
Yeah.
Underneath, there was another room underneath.
Yeah.
Underneath, I had white. I had grey.
Yeah.
I had
Bullets. Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
they did not find any of it.
That's luck.
Fucking gangster, mate. What do you want, bruv? So there you go. Like, this is how like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, these things have been utilized, and it's not until it's brought up by the likes of the media afterwards, these guys kind of operate with impunity and make hundreds of thousands, if not millions, off of the sale and supply of cannabis. And look at some of the stuff that's gone out there, like these syrups, these gummies, and all of this stuff. Like, there's a real danger here to the young people that if they were to get access to this. Not that it contained THC, but that it contains something even more dangerous than THC, as is quite often the case, especially with these type of products. But yeah, I reckon that fella in the interview is full of shit anyway. It seems like a dude who was just like really wanting to come across as a hard boy. You see the pictures and his videos up on Instagram and Snapchat as well. It's just like he wants to be a thug, like, you know, he's a hard man. This is up there. This is some of the other pages up there as well. Bezel 710. Loud Fam UK. Yeah, they've quite a few of them up there. There's more of your man's the drug baron. I'm sure he's even delighted with being called that, like a drug baron. And they just plaster his photo everywhere as well. Like, that's lousy. And here he is getting arrested, saying there that it's not known why he was why or when he was stopped. His photo up on his Instagram, I'd imagine. So nice one for that there, Hype. That one hadn't come across my attention at all. When was that actually put up online? Is that a new article? Oh yeah, there you go, 26th only from yesterday. Up on the Daily Fail. Well, that's gas, isn't it? Like these dudes, like look at your man up there, like he's just selling away. He didn't give a shit. Like, and if there was truth to that story, like he's like chopping off dudes' fingers. What the fuck? Like, in fairness, like the most dangerous thing the cannabis is going to do to you, like, is it's going to probably upset your blood sugars. Even then, actually, cannabis is seen to have a potential to offset that damage. But look, we won't go there either. John Finnegan, what you want, bruv? Easy, fam. I be man them. You get me? You get me, bruv? I be man them. What, bruv? What? He was found one morning nailed to the wooden floor with spikes in each part. Oh no, he's saying, I remember a guy running on a well-known Limerick crew and was put in witness protection 24 hours a day in a safe house. He was found one morning nailed to the wooden floor with spikes in each part. That sounds fucking like great fun. Witness protection is fucking highly efficient here in Ireland, it seems. Hunter K says, man's ard, inna. I mean, no smart person would just sit there and brag about everything. Yeah, there you go. That's what I mean. That makes me feel like he's just he's full of SH1T. That he's just trying to make himself to seem real hard. But in all fairness, like if you said boo to the guy, he'd probably fold up and he'd a spare change of jocks. I'd say he's shitting it now, and he's seen his photo all over the media. Mustawa says they should just ban the internet too, just in case. Yeah, that'll sort it out. Like, yeah, ban the internet. That'll stop the selling of drugs. And Papa Gummy Bar, more daily fail scaremongering. Yep, that's it. Like, there seems to be a big media campaign out there at the moment, like just to drive the fearmongering around cannabis and stuff like that, you know. A ticking time bomb, like, come on, like, get off the stage. Oh, it's just annoying at this stage. John Finnegan posing with cars at a car dealership. Yeah, that's it. Loose lip sync ships. Especially when they're your own loose lips. Yeah, and that is what they say, Toby. Rain and Rock says he's so full of SH1T, definitely. Yes. Papa Gummy Bear says, I've been type 1 diabetic my whole life, and our little green pal is great for my blood sugars. Yeah, as I say, there's definitely shown to be benefit there with the homeostasis that cannabis can contribute to the homeostasis of our bodies, which includes just the healthy balancing of blood sugars. And yeah, diabetics benefit from cannabis access too. And it's said, you know, that if you get the heavy munchies, you know, as a cannabis consumer, that there's a lot less risk of you developing that. Is it type 2 diabetes then, which is the sensitivity one, isn't it? Type 2 is type 1 is what you're born with, yeah, and type 2 is the sensitivity. I could be mixing those up anyway. But cannabis is said to reduce the risk of you developing that then later on as associated with your overconsumption of sugar. Compared to somebody else who might eat the same amount but not with cannabis on board as well, you know. More studies needed on that one as well, guys, so. Papa Gummy Bear, he'll have more than loose lips if he gets locked up. That's for sure, anyway. I wouldn't say he'd last long at all inside behind bars. A big old softy, I'd say. As I say, he's probably is shitting it out there now, right now, because of his photo being just across the media like that. But yeah, any more comments there? Any more shout outs you want to get in? We'll pack up one more bowl and we'll call it a day then. We'll be back on Friday though, guys, so not to worry. Don't get all upset. Don't be missing me just yet. Ooh, empty out the old bowl. You don't know now, I think I'm going to change the gauze as well. Freshen that bad boy up. Oh, shout out to anybody else got a nice little box like this out there. Yes, got all your little supplies in there. Got my things. A little bit of DMT just in case. Yes, fresh out gauze. I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of like to expose my gauze to the flame before I put it into my pipe, my bong. Sometimes I find that you can get like little flicks of like little smoke coming off it, indicating that there's a bit of residue or something being burnt off. So just a little something I do myself anyway, like just to reduce any potential contaminants there that you might be breathing into your lungs. You only have 2 of them, so it's best to try to take care of them as best you can, really. There we go. Lovely. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, Papa Gummy Bear. Nice one. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease, and type 2 is usually reversible through diet. Exactly. Type 2 is the one you develop then as in response to an overconsumption of sugar or just a really bad diet. Hunter K, his cellmate is known as Big Bob, wanting a cock mean sandwich. A cock meat sandwich, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're dead right there. A cock meat sandwich, referencing Harlan Kumar. And God Boy. What's going on, God Boy? It's THC V that controls blood sugar and stops excessive eating. Nice one for that. So THC V, which is another kind of version of THC found within the cannabis plant. There isn't just one. They have THC, which is actually the least amount in the cannabis plant. Majority of it is THCA, so which is the acidic form of it. But that's maybe something for another show, some other day. I'd love that. I should really do more science stuff actually into that. Get a bit of education going on out there, and put this news to rest for a while, because it's not about fucking Gardaí, but we'll get there eventually. Pod 85, I have a celebration, Tim. I put my bits in. Nice. Yeah, that's it. Reduce, reuse, recycle. And now on Stoner TV, what's in your box? Oh, I have a dirty mind, don't I? Right, I'm going to pack up a bowl. Papa Gummy Bear, Daily Mail competition. Get people to upload pictures of their stash boxes. Best one wins a prize. Nice. I'll have to get my photo taken there so soon. Oh, apologies there. Got a bowl packed up. I hope you all got balls packed up out there as well, guys. Still got 50 of you out there in the audience. Apologies, 51 of you out there in the audience. I just hope you're all well on this lovely Wednesday evening. Or wherever you might be in the world, because I'd imagine probably not all of you are limited to Ireland. But guys, this next one's to all you beautiful people out there in the audience. A little clank of the glass there, look, cling. Yeah, slint, little civil disobedience, clouds for Frank. What's happening on Frank Watch at the moment? Let's go over and see what's happening on Frankie Boy's Twitter page. Frank Fian gets lots of love from the cannabis community. It's not impersonal, Frank. It's just you're the minister in charge for drugs. Great club. I wonder, is there anything cannabis related responded to this? Oh, look, there you go. Yes, love it. Yes. And that's a good thread actually put up there by Julian Butchman, PhD. Should actually give that one a bit of a retweet out there as well. But it starts off the thread. The drug war is sustained by vested interests. Here they are. It protects the market share and status, privilege promoted in culturally embedded legal drugs, alcohol, caffeine, tobacco, sugar, and pharmaceutical. 2. It provides police with excellent powers to easily stop, search, arrest, interrogate, and prosecute. It successfully attracts significant additional funding for police, armed services, customs, officials, and security services. Excuse me. Well, let's finish off this one. Ferg, also, much love. You're a legend. Stay ablaze, buddy. Appreciate it. Ferg getting in another 420 there as well to the show. Really appreciate that, Ferg. Nice one, pal. Well, let's get back over to Frankie Watch. Or, sorry, not the Frankie Watch. We're over at Julian Pushanan. Jeez, I'm terrible with people's surnames, aren't I? It goes on to say that it provides justification for military action invasion of other countries, which it does. You know, that's kind of what's gone on there with Mexico. You've seen that. I kind of brought that up on another show throughout the 70s there. You had Operation, I'm just trying to think of the name of it now at the top of my head. Condor, Operation Condor. That was the one there where it was under the guise of the war on drugs. They actually went in and started attacking the political opposition, you know, the opposition to the political parties that the Americans were favouring at the time, I suppose. You know, they didn't want, I believe it was communism settling in and succeeding in some countries, like Mexico, Argentina, and places like that. So this Operation Condor, under the guise of the war on drugs, went in and started targeting not drug barons, but opposition of the political elite there that the Americans were propping up. Or not even propping up, trying to put in place in certain instances as well. But yeah, it provides excellent opportunities for significant additional resources for the police state through the seizures of assets. It provides excellent business opportunities and raw materials for the ever-burgeoning penal industrial complex. It provides considerable opportunities for technology development and sales in the invasive and expanding drugs testing industry. It provides considerable opportunities for new technology development and sales in the avoidance of drug detection industry, and that's true actually. It provides the drug rehabilitation business with an endless supply of illicit users who must always abstain and forever be in recovery. It provides excellent opportunities for the state to easily target, monitor and control and punish the poor indigenous people, black, minority, ethnic groups and people of colour. And that's right across the world. That's just not in America. You've also the same thing going on over in in New Zealand, where it's the native Maori people who are disproportionately punished under the war of drugs. I would imagine we probably still have, we'd have something similar here in Ireland. I would imagine, say, even within the traveller population. You've in some facilities here in Ireland where the traveller population within the prison is making up a substantial portion of it compared to what their actual population is within the on the national level. You know, I think in one prison alone, it was brought up, I think it was a women's facility, that 25% of the inmates there were from the travelling community. Considering, you know, that travellers make up, I don't know, is it 1 to 3% of the Irish population? I don't know what percent of the Irish population is actually travellers, but it's not 25% of the Irish population anyway, that's for sure. But I'd imagine if you were to look at drug laws, like if you're a traveller and you got caught with cannabis, or if you got caught with an ounce of cannabis, how likely are you to go to prison versus, you know, a middle class college student who got caught with the same amount of cannabis? I'd imagine you're a lot more likely to be going to prison. But again, I just don't have the data to back that up. That's just a theory I'm hypothesizing on at the moment. It provides politicians with a societal scapegoat and the chance to rally support and votes by getting tough on the socially constructed enemies within the addict, hooked and controlled by the demon drugs. And that's a true one. I'm hitting retweeting that one right there, because that's ever so true here in Ireland. Like, where in certain areas, you know, they'll use the fact that, you know, these people are on drugs and stuff, and that's why they're not getting on. And then it doesn't. The politicians don't have to address the policies, which are depriving that community of opportunity. We go on, it provides the news media with easy, cheap, dirty stories, pictures of apparent horrors associated with illicit drug use, clickbait in other words. It provides much needed distraction with the serious problems caused by the harms, more harmful, addictive and culturally embedded legal drugs, alcohol, tobacco, sugar and pharmaceuticals. And sugar, like, I think that's one that really needs to be repeated. Like, you know, sugar is a fucking incredibly overlooked drug, dangerous, damaging drug out there in society, and it's not seen as one. And it's our kids who abuse that on a daily basis. Internationally, it rallies otherwise disproportionate nations together by finding common ground to fight a shared war against the global enemy, drugs. It provides the banks with massive investments for money laundering. Yes, it does. Was it not Goldman Sachs, actually, not too long ago, where their boat was caught with like €2 billion or dollars worth of cocaine on it? I think that was Goldman Sachs. I'm going to look that one up now. Goldman cocaine boat. JP Morgan Chase, actually. JP Morgan Chase. Almost the same. So JP Morgan Chase, a cargo ship owned by them, was seized with 20 tons of cocaine on it. You have to wonder, like, you know, how deep did the ties to that go to the JP Morgan Chase, that institution? It provides researchers and academics with a constant, reliable stream of funding sources for endless prevalence studies and evidence needed to uphold prohibition propaganda such as reefer madness, gateway theory, crack babies, and crocodile. And that's a very true one as well, because that's a big problem when it comes to medicinal cannabis, because when you look at the evidence out there in terms of studies done in cannabis, it's like 80% of the studies done into cannabis were to demonize it, to find harms, while like 20%. And I would imagine if you went back maybe 20 years ago, that would have been like 95% to demonize it and about 5% to kind of investigate any potential health benefits. And sometimes in some of those efforts to demonize it, they actually couldn't, and they ended up finding benefits of its use, which is kind of funny in its own right. But yeah, it is rather disturbing when you look at the evidence of research done into cannabis. Overwhelmingly, the majority of it was to find harms associated with the use of cannabis rather than to investigate any health potential benefits there. It allows governments to shift attention away from the key structural drivers behind most chronic addictions: inequality, stigma, exclusion, poverty, blocked opportunities, and instead misleadingly focus on the imagined, demonizing, and devastating power of the illicit drug. Again, much like what I talked about there, again, how they scapegoat the politicians and blame people's drug use for the fact that they can't get by in life, and not actually address the issues there, you know, inequality, stigma, exclusion, poverty, and blocked opportunities, you know. It provides a lucrative illegal market that enables gangsters and drug cartels to make incredible untaxed profits. There's one for you. It provides an attractive and unquestionable dogma for religious groups to say no to drugs, avoiding the complexities of science, reason, and rationale, and indeed the contradiction in respect to sugar, caffeine, tobacco, and alcohol. And that's ever very true as well. And one kind of such religion I'm very much interested in is the Santo Daime religion. That's such an interesting group and practice. I would love to learn and to be able to avail of opportunities to practice that here in Ireland. But sadly, I can't do it really without having to break a law. Do you know, literally, if the cops came here now, my religious sacrament would possibly land me in prison. Do you know, the judges, the courts here, they don't respect that. And it's a joke. Again, another violation of our rights as humans. It provides excellent careers for drug enforcement officials and drug policy entrepreneurs and careerists, facilitating endless debates, inquiries, international travel, networking, and conferences events, particularly via the United Nations networks. Michael O'Sullivan, Moak, who has been making tremendous efforts there to be in the media as of late. Over the last year, I've seen him appear maybe about 7 or 8 times now. In different articles, on different kind of occasions, you know, taking claim, you know, ownership over different seizures. And again, you know, as I always say, it's just about climbing up the career ladder. Michael O'Sullivan was involved in the early kind of drug squad here in Ireland back in the late 70s, early 80s, targeting gangsters such as Christy Kinahan, the kind of the head, the father of the Kinahan family, you know, the crime cartel that has since, you know, continued to plague Ireland. And I always say, like, I wonder, like, you know, you remember Michael there now and the boys, I wonder how much, like, you know, they actually worked with the Kinahans, you know, and provided maybe intel, as we kind of found out there as of late that's been happening when the guards. So the boys are working with them, you know, and the cartel, the Kinahans are still around, you know, and they go out and they target maybe their rivals and other people, you know, who are going to be stepping in on the turf and all of this kind of stuff. It's funny, like, you have to wonder really, like, what actually goes on behind the scenes, and how these things actually operate within Ireland, you know. Ah, shit, we missed 420 again. But yeah, Julian has a full blog up there. Let's go back to the Frankie boy. What's going up on Frankie's page? Oh yeah, Frank out with the boys getting his photo taken. He loves getting his photo taken. Oh look, he's planting Frank. He's about to plant Frank there, la. A big giant spud. In fairness, like, you know, they're up there looking around, like, you know, cannabis is just a plant as well, Frank, and it's one not to be fearful of. Like, some of the plants there within that greenhouse that you're probably walking around are possibly deadly dangerous. Like for example, this plant that he's holding here, like this potato, that's actually from the Solanaceae family, the potato, the nightshade family, and the leaves of the potato plant actually contain toxic compounds, known as I believe, Jesus, it's been a while now since my herbal science days looking into this stuff, but I think there were cardiac glycosides. And especially even in potatoes, if you get a green potato, you're not supposed to eat that green part of the potato because it's got toxic compounds within there. I have to look those up now again. On potatoes. Solanine. No, that's an oh, that is it. Solanine. No, I thought that was for tomatoes. No. That's the word I was looking for. The glycoalkaloid. That's solanine is a glycoalkaloid, and solanine is the name of the compound found within the potato plant. So it's a glycoalkaloid, and it is a poison. It is poisonous. But you know, again, we apply common sense. We don't eat the green potatoes, except sometimes annoyingly you find them in your Mr. Potato bags. But even then, I think cooking can reduce it. Cooking is a way of breaking it down, but it doesn't remove it in its entirety, I believe. But solanine, there you go, cardiac glycoside. It's been a while. But yeah, like there you go. Like that thing he's holding there is a potential to be much more deadly than cannabis actually is. Not a bother. And Frank is resharing it. Shame on you, Frank. Sharing pictures of deadly plants like that. He's loved their fucking photo taking, like. Nothing about drugs up there though. Nothing. You'd never think that this is the minister for drugs, like, you know? You never would, like. Minister for taking fucking photos, like. And retweeting soccer. Here we go. This was if you go slow. If you go slow. That's who's dressing up as Frank Fian for Halloween anyway. Anyone dressing up as Frank Fian? Ah, yes. Oh, Frankie boy, the pipes are piping. I think I might pipe another pipe for Frank. Oh, Frankie boy. Yeah, nice one, John. Yeah, definitely. I'll certainly need that class, alright. A surname pronouncement class. Sound. Green tea is already leading the way in the lessons. A shout out to green tea as well. I don't know if I've seen green tea in the audience, but hopefully all is well out there with green tea. And yeah, I know green tea was having a bit of a hard time there last week, but hopefully things have improved. And to anybody out there who hasn't caught that episode of Green Tea, like I imagine anybody's still chilling around watching now, but for people watching this back later, go check that one out. A really eye-opening interview there as to the effects of cannabis prohibition on people who need it as a medicine here in Ireland. Minister for Photo Ops, Frank de Planck. Should Photoshop a cannabis plant into that picture. We should have a little bit more fun with Frank, alright. Hunter K was thinking of going as Varadkar, but couldn't find any wings, horns, or tails, unfortunately. You should just go as a giant sock. Just be a cock in a sock. Yeah, it was a great chat with Green Tea. Alright, John. I really enjoyed that one. And Hype saying another Irish gangland figure arrested there. I have to look into that one as well in a bit. I watched a thing on Voice recently where guys get young lads to hold thousands of pounds in their bank account for a few weeks. They take their bank card, and when they extract their cash, they give the young fella $2,000 for the use of the bank accounts. Advertise it as risk-free, easy money. Yeah, that's been going on for a while, alright. Yeah, dudes will get you to like put money into your account, and they can withdraw it then or something like that. I've heard stuff like that alright in the past. Haven't heard of it again recently until just now. Could go as a giant thumb for Donnelly. And if Radker is easy, just get a giant butt plug costume. Did you see that one up the country where the kid got to dress up for school, and the kid went into school dressed up as Leo the Leak. He dressed up as a leak with Leo Radker's face, like just as a little mask. Fucking quality, like, you know. I don't know, was that the kids doing or the parent put him up to it, like, but whoever it was, top quality. I'd love to know how the class reacted and the teacher reacted, you know. Imagine if you went into a teacher who was a political supporter there for some reason of Leo. That'd be an interesting one. But yeah, that was a photo from up the country there somewhere. Someone's kid going to school as Leo the Leak. All right, let's pipe the pipes there for Frankie Boy. Civil disobedience. Frank, your laws are not working. Cannabis prohibition is not only making life difficult for patients out there, but it's ruining the lives of young people needlessly, with the criminal convictions you attach to their name for the rest of their lives, infringing on their ability to travel, to get jobs. Not only that, you're infringing on their rights as humans to be able to choose a drug in which they consume, as in recreative pursuits. So blaze on up there for Frankie Boy. Shout out to Temple Grower as well. It's species 8472 from Temple Grower. Top quality genetics. Dressed up as a baked bean, same as Stephen Donnelly. And Hunter K as well. That kid's outfit was great. Yeah. Right, so guys, Scoozy. Jeez, 2 hours, 15 minutes. She's been along 420 news today, but it's been a good crack. We got to have a chat there with Aimee over in Spain, as she sits down, not fearing the authorities kind of coming in and taking away her medicine. So that was a great addition to today's news. And then sure we came back there and got through the rest of the depressing stuff then as well. Yeah, no, I've to wonder, I suppose, before I go, you know, it's just we have to question, you know, as to the way he didn't challenge Arnold Hill that time when he brought it up to him, because it did seem very kind of directed towards him. Or was it just a time constraint issue? His questions were up. But there needs to be more said about that, Gino. Come on, you can't let these things go unanswered. There's damage control that needs to be done. And what that guy said was misinformation. It was fake news. And you just got the real news here on 420 News. As always, guys, we'll keep it real on the 420 News. But we'll be back on Friday, guys, for the Friday Holiday session. And until then, stay blazed and keep her lit. Much love. Peace. Bye-bye.